I'm Emma, a certified dog trainer.
And I'm Kirsten, a certified dog behavior consultant.
And this is Dog Chats. Join us as we chat about dog behavior, having fun with your dogs, and building relationships. We will offer practical advice and a bit of humor. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 34. And before we start today, I just want to mention something. Kirsten has been nominated by the Pacific Sun as the best behavior course in Marin County.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I know obedience isn't a word that we would normally use, but what
I like
an
how you phrased that.
accomplishment,
Yeah,
right?
Thank you. Yes,
That's pretty awesome.
I have good supporters.
She's very shy now.
I didn't know that was coming.
Her face is red. I did want to mention that because that's so awesome and such great comments I saw from your Facebook page when you put it up there. Everybody saying you deserved it and you're so great. And if you want to check her website, it's KW Happy Dogs. Today we have an interesting episode. We're going to talk about cars.
Yeah.
And it's not we're changing what we're talking about. We're not click and clack.
Dogs and cars. Yeah.
But Kirsten just also got a new car.
Did.
So we have cars in the mind.
Yeah.
We thought we'd just talk about a bunch of stuff got to do with cars and dogs.
Yeah. Because I was telling Emma that all of a sudden in the last couple of weeks, I've had a lot of clients call and say the dog is struggling with the car. It's a new dog, a rescue, who probably has only been in the car during the rescue process or to go to the vet or groomer, and they're struggling. And it's an interesting topic.
It is definitely a good one. And I see that too, even with puppies, just getting used to the cars. Let's talk about if somebody has dog has just come newly into their home and they say, my dog doesn't love the car.
Yeah.
What are the things we think about as far as the dog's emotional state at that time?
Yeah, think about how scary that would be for a dog to be trapped and moving. And if it's a dog that like is visually processing movement and then the car is moving, and like I think of a border collie, just crazy to think about the brain churning, trying to keep up with all that sensory perception. I see a dog, the dog's moving, I'm moving, now it's gone. And things popping into the dog's vision.
For me, from the puppy perspective, I always think about it's either their first journey, like the first time. So association with that car is leaving everything they've ever known.
Yeah.
And then going somewhere else. And
true.
it could even be the next visit is to the vet. So not that we have anything against vets, but the dog's perspective of, oh, I'm being prodded and needles or whatever. I'm being checked. It's not very comfortable. And that's one thing I learned from doing the research. Honestly, we learn so much from just doing the research for our podcast, is that puppies tend to get car sick more than adult dogs, which I didn't know because the crystals in their ears aren't quite, I don't know what the right wording is, quite set. I know what that's like. I suffer from vertigo and my crystals get thrown off all the time. That I didn't know, which is really interesting. Puppies have a little harder time in the car.
Yeah.
But I always feel like it is just that association of how much has changed, and that's one of those associations.
Yeah. Or it could be like one of my clients that loved being home, was a dog with some anxiety, loved being home, and the idea of getting in the car every time, it was, oh gosh, where are we going?
It was too much.
It could be something bad. And that dog, we thought that it was just purely car sickness because she would drool and vomit right away. But then working with her, she started to like hyper drool on the driveway when we were 20 feet from the car. So it was probably both car sickness and anxiety.
Just the stress of I remember when we got Dusty, he was a puppy, and it was close to Thanksgiving, and we were going to LA, driving to LA for Thanksgiving. Yeah. And we got him like the week before we left. And so he was coming with us. Yeah. And he got sick, I think, like 40 minutes into the drive. He got sick all over the place. And so I ended up sitting in the back seat with him and just hanging out with him for the rest of the drive. But I felt so bad. Like he was fine on the way back, but I think it was just everything. Yeah. It was just overwhelmed.
And for some dogs, I think it can also be, are they taking me back to the shelter?
I know the opposite to what I was saying is you're being removed from everything, but now are we going back?
Especially if that first rescue had to do with a long car trip.
So what do we do with that? This is the fun part for me.
Yeah.
I actually liked it. When people say, oh, my dog isn't sure of the car, I'm like, yay, I love doing this stuff.
Good. What's the first thing you do?
So the first thing I do is I go outside. We either do some snuffle mats or something like that outside the car. It just depends because I'm looking at where's the dog is at. Is the dog absolutely terrified of the car, or are they just terrified to get into it? Or are they terrified when there's movement? What are those things?
Yeah.
If they're a little scared of the car, just looking at the car, being close to it, I'll start with some snuffle mats and some fun things, enrichment outside. We might do that for one session. But if the dog is good, then I'll open the door and I'll put a little treat right by just the door frame. Just put one right there, and then I step away. Like, I still have him on leash.
No pressure.
Yeah, absolutely no pressure. It's the way I do the crate training, is that I just take the pressure off so they can go in if they want, or they can back up if they want. They don't feel like we're about to pick them up and shove them in.
Yeah.
And then if they're doing really good with that, I will put one on just below where the passenger's seat is in the back seat. Just put it on the floor. And then stand back again and see if they're tiny, I'm going to start with steps and stuff. But if they're big enough, I'm just going to put one there and see if they'll go in themselves.
Yeah.
Recently, I had a dog that I asked the girl to go into the other side of the car and just sit there and encourage the dog to come into the car. And then if they jump in once, we make a big deal of it. And then we open the other door, hand the leash to her, and then off out that side of the door. So we make it a fun in and out thing.
Nice.
And
I love that. So taking away that feeling of being trapped.
Sometimes it just works so fast. Then they start jumping in themselves because they know there's a treat in there and they have to go in and search for it. That's one of my favorite ways to start with dogs getting used to the car.
And it's so nice because often people are like rushing because they're trying to get to the groomer or the vet and they don't have time to do that. And so the human gets more stressed. One of the things I'll do for homework is say, I want you to come out, drink your coffee in the car, in the back seat, and just have the dog on a long line. And whether they're in or out, you're just back there. So you're changing the perception of what the car is for.
That's perfect. Yeah. Then the next step would be turn the engine on, turn it off, go back in the house.
Yeah. Love that.
And just add those little steps, just watching your dog and what they're saying. I was reading something today about how we look at dogs and what they're doing, like their sits and their downs and stuff, but are we really looking at the dog? Really taking a look at the dog? Are they walking behind us? I know I'm sidetracking here, but I saw somebody walking a dog today and the dog was like super vigilant all over, and the person was just walking, like not even noticing.
On their own walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So really, when you are doing this work, is to look at what the dog is telling you. Are they comfortable? Are they enjoying it?
Yeah. So that brings me to my next point, because you were talking about putting the treat like on the floor. And we know many dogs don't have very good depth perception unless they're the brachycephalic and the eyes on the front of their face. A pug might be able to see that right away. But a lot of dogs that have the eyes more on the side of the head, the almond-shaped eyes, it's confusing. And then especially because their close-up vision is bad. So something that I love to do is putting a yoga mat on the car floor and have it hanging outside, because it just gives this visual field of this is a way in. And and some dogs also need a step. So many clients have SUVs, and yes, the dog could jump that high, but if they're nervous, just giving them like a stepping block. One of my clients actually built a cute little platform, super sturdy, and that was it. We worked just on paws up on that at first.
Wonderful.
And then because that dog was just super confused about how she was going to get in the car. It just didn't make sense to her.
And a lot of the time with the smallies, we pick them up to put them in. So we don't give them much control as to whether they want to go in there or not. So I think the step is wonderful.
Yeah.
And you said sturdy, that if you're going to use a step, then make sure that it's solid. It cannot move, because if they step on it and it unbalances, then you're back to worse than you started off with.
Yeah, and that's true for some of the car ramps. If they're really long, they can be wibbly and moving. And so, and it's great if you have a big car to use a ramp steps. But I would work on those on the couch inside.
Just getting up,
learning about the ramp in the house.
So let's talk about, first of all, the ways you could get your dog into the car if they didn't jump in.
Good idea.
So you have a ramp, you could have a little stairs, you could have that thing that comes out the back under the bumper, comes off the hitch.
I love that because it just tucks in.
And it's just a little step to get up.
I think it's called a quick step.
And those are like the main ways to get in. So for a dog that just doesn't jump in.
Yeah.
You were saying the ramp. Let's go back to the ramp and how you would work with that with people.
Yeah. So I had a client with an adorable golden who was scared of the car. And so then they bought the ramp. And now we're putting the scary wibbly ramp by the car they're scared of. And I was like, let's go back a step. So we first had the ramp just laying flat on the ground and practice stepping on it. And then we took it inside and put it up to the couch. And that was really exciting because the dog wasn't usually allowed on the couch. So that was super fun. And just getting her accustomed to the ramp equals a good thing. And it's sturdy and safe. And then we brought it back out to the car.
Let's talk about steps. Steps can be great. And some people go, why is my dog not going up the steps? I have stairs in my house. They just don't generalize very well. It's a different thing in a different place.
Yeah. And sometimes they do move a little bit.
And they do, yeah. I used to have one that was really light for my past dogs, and I actually would wedge my feet up against it.
Smart.
When they were going up, just to make sure it wouldn't move.
Yeah.
Because that can be scary too. And steps are a little harder, but it depends. Like the truck ones, they were like accordions.
Yeah.
It opened right up, and those steps were pretty good to get them in. And that's not so much necessarily about dogs that might be scared to go into the car. That's just dogs that might need a little bit of help to get up into the car, not putting pressure on the front legs, or even getting out of the car.
Especially getting out, I think.
Yeah. Because Kiva, fingers crossed that there won't be too much elbow stuff when she gets older, but she does tend to limp every now and then, so we're very careful about that pressure coming out of the car. And what I do is I actually hold the back of her harness to take the pressure off.
Nice.
When she comes down on the ground.
Yeah. But speaking of coming out of a car, I used to have a dog boarding business, and we would sometimes drive a couple dogs around just for the mental stimulation to get them out. And I had the dog buckled in, but my daughter put the window down and we parked, and the dog jumped out the window and then was hanging from the seatbelt in the harness. But making sure you're really thoughtful about how they're, what's the word I'm looking for?
Attached.
Yeah.
You know, what their equipment is.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit.
And I like that you mentioned that he was harnessed.
Yeah.
Because if he was on a collar, it would have been a whole different story. There is a bunch of, and we're not going to get into the safety of all of these, but there is harnesses that are for the
crash
cars.
tested. Yeah.
Yeah, and do your research, because not all are equal. And they have attachments that go into your seatbelt. So is seatbelt the right? Am I using an Irish word?
No, that's right. But I'm going to just say, Aster, who I work with all the time, yeah, she knows how to unbuckle herself. So we had to, with her, use the one that goes behind the headrest.
Ah. And when you say unbuckle, like she touched her paw off.
Yep. She did it once on accident, and then now she learned it. She's, I'm going to just unbuckle myself.
So if you don't use a harness and the buckle, other options are crates.
But do your research.
Yes, a crate will stop your dog moving around the car, but crash tested is a whole different thing. I keep Buddy in a crate. I think I told everybody that in a previous episode, because he would be doing parkour all over the car if I didn't keep him in a crate. And he's quite happy in there, and he's quiet, whereas Kiva is more the seatbelt girl. I was thinking about this earlier too, that it is so important to have them contained somewhat, because I was thinking about this ad that they used to have in Ireland. It wasn't for dogs, and they showed what a crash would look like if somebody didn't have one on, and how much they can move around the car.
Yeah.
I know that's pretty
yeah.
horrible, but just that it just is like a projectile. So to keep that in mind too, that it's always good to have them secure.
Yeah, and I know that people that travel with their dogs a lot, like dog show people, often have the crates fastened into the car somehow.
Yeah, those are the real crash tested ones. They're bolted into the car.
Yeah.
They're like big heavy metal ones if they fit in your car. But not every car can do that.
Yeah. And if you have a little dog or even a medium dog, all three of my littles have a booster seat, and they love it. And it's not that the booster seat itself it offers any protection, but they're in their seatbelt and harness, and now they can look out the window. And Neve is just too much. And she has to be hooked in, because she would be like, back and forth, like buddy. But she looks out the window the whole time. And she's so much, oh, what's she wearing? Oh, who's that? And Charlie is more nervous in the car. But if he's in his booster seat, he can relax. Like he basically doesn't look out the window. Yeah, but he curls up. And I feel, I don't know if I'm imagining this, that somehow that keeps them from sliding around on the seat.
That's good. So. I tried a booster seat with parkour pup here.
Yeah.
And he just came right out of it. Oh. So he was like sitting at the side of it, like you were saying, when the dog came out the window.
Yeah.
Another note too about windows that I just want to go back and mention is if you have your dogs in the back and you want to give them a little air, fine. If it's safe to give them a little air, but otherwise lock your windows.
Yes.
Because
child lock.
They will just put their paws on that. And I have heard a story of the same thing,
Yeah.
a dog falling out of a car because they were looking out the window
Right.
and then put their paws up to look out a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And then they opened the window and fell out.
Oh, yeah.
They were okay,
Yeah.
but
Astor will go for the car door also. And I
wow.
think it. So we call it the Astor lock in the car, not child lock. But my girls will get in the car and be like, "Can I roll down my window, please?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And there are dogs that love the car. Like my Neve. The problem with Neve is if she's on leash and I'm gonna load her in the car, she jumps in before I can get in there.
Wow.
And I'm half the time I'm like like dropping stuff. But for her, that is like the best day to just drive around with me. And I'm careful to not leave her in the car if it's hot. But she would rather go for a car ride than a walk.
And do you say anything? Like I was thinking of all the cues we give our dogs to do things within the car. And one of mine is load up. That's how they're in the car. And then my other one is hold on, which means I'm about to go around a curve.
Oh, that's cute.
Or I'm about to brake.
That's cute.
And I can see Kiva kind of bracing a little bit if I have to stop a little fast.
Love it.
So do you use any words in the car with your dogs?
I don't. I should.
Yeah.
I'm just talking the whole time. I'm like telling stories and blah, blah, blah. But one thing that is funny is, so Charlie gets to go in the car more than others just because he's not very reactive. He's less reactive. But every time we get in the car, he's like, "I'm going to the vet." He's like, "I'm going to the vet." I'm like,
so pessimistic.
Right? And I'm like, "We go to the vet 1 out of every 10 times, Charlie. This time we're not going to the vet." So if I say anything, it's not a vet trip. And who knows if that means anything to him, but he will then jump in.
He's okay. Your whole demeanor has changed. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. Then he gets to the vet and he actually loves it because they even treats.
I think Buddy loves the car too. And he knows, like he's been transported all over the place. Like his DNA shows that his close relatives were from Mexico.
Wow.
I feel like he has traveled and he's a great traveler.
Yeah.
So he will just go in there, fall asleep, and I'll forget he's in there until we arrive where we're going.
Nice. Yeah.
So what about little road trips?
Yeah, that's really takes some preparation. And the most important thing is adding in that extra time for stops.
Yeah, when sometimes we drive down to LA and I'll do it every 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'll say, okay, it's time to stop, get them out, stretch their legs.
Yeah, even if they don't have to go to the bathroom, I just think that's humane.
Yeah, give them some water. Carrying water in the car is one of our big things. And then just setting it up to be comfortable for them for depending on how many hours they're in there.
Yeah.
All right. Can I tell the story about Kiva and how she is with the truck?
Yeah.
This is a car story that I still am trying to figure out. So I thought I'd share it with everybody. Several years ago, we were driving in our truck and with a trailer behind, and our engine failed and we had to pull in at the side of the freeway. I'm not going to make it a long story like an Irish person would. We'll be here all night. But it was traumatic. It was busy. It was at night. We had thankfully some cops that were keeping us safe, but it was traumatic and we had to get into a tow truck and everything had to be towed, and we stayed at a hotel for several days and ended up with a new truck when we left. And she used to be the greatest traveler before that. Like as good as Buddy, would get into the car, just fall asleep. And as soon as we got that new truck, everything changed. She is so sound sensitive, and she's sound sensitive to other things in life, so it's not surprising that it's transferred a bit. But she's really sound sensitive if we go over those cow grids. Yeah. And we tend to do a lot of that because we go camping. And I think this particular truck that we have now sways a little bit more than our car does. Yeah. And it has taken me years and I still don't feel like I'm in a great place. Yeah. My car, she used to have problems with it straight after that, but now the car is totally fine. So I have solved that. But the truck is still, we do several things. We play Through a Dog's Ear. We're sick of listening to it, the two of us, right? In there. Every time we go over a cow thing, because we have to go over it, is we open the front windows and go, woo, like make a big deal. Like it's like something we're associating with something. And that has worked. We've started to think about things we need to give her to medicate her to get through that time.
Anti-anxiety meds?
Yeah. So and we're testing those and what will work and what won't work. But it's a hard one because it's hard to sit in a car with a dog that's stressed and you have several hours to go. Yeah. So that can be really tough. And I'm sure there's lots of people that deal with that. And it's a sound phobia, but it's related to the car, which is interesting because to desensitize her to that sound is hard because it includes the car as well.
And she's trapped in there. What is the sound that
it's like
so could you record that or find that on YouTube?
I just listened to something today about sound, and that sometimes those recordings still don't give that range that they would hear. So she's in an enclosed sound capsule, and then
and she's
underneath
feeling
the car is
yeah, imagine the vibration.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now.
I think you're just so much more empathetic because Mick is 12 and a half, and
Yes.
he's never liked the car because when he was a puppy, this is partly why I talked about attaching the crate. I was going out to Point Reyes and we went around one of those big curves by San Opie and the crate rolled. So he's rolling around in the back of my van. Anyway, I'm just like, buddy, when we get there, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So it's grit building.
Yes.
Because nothing that I've ever done with him has helped.
Has helped.
He's just like on the back seat, pancaked as flat as he can, panting, like doomsday's coming. So
yeah, and I know it's better. Honestly, it's my own trauma as well because it was traumatic for all of us.
Yeah,
I was the one
definitely.
driving when the engine went on the freeway. I'm looking at you. That's my girl Kiva looking at me, going, "Are you telling my story?" Maybe it'll be solved now that we talked about it.
I think so. Yeah, we just did.
She definitely has got better, but it's still like when we go, oh, we got to go out, and we've done different stuff in our truck. We've had her sit up high, we've had her sit down low, and it's not nausea. She just seems like she's stressed. And we also have changed one side of the car on the floor to the other side because we realized it gets really hot on one side. So we've changed it to that as well. So we've had a lot that we've done with the truck and the cars. Thank God, like the little guy is just, woohoo, let's go.
Yeah. So sometimes I think we can't fix everything, but like you said at the beginning, just kind of looking at the dog for who they are and being empathetic. But for my case with Mick, I'm always like, it's worth it, wherever we're going.
And she does love when we get there. And it is getting better. But I still want to work on that. I don't love that. For me, I get stressed, and then she's probably feeling my stress, and we're feeding off each other.
Gosh, and I'm sure the trailer is bouncing over it too.
Yeah, everything's bouncing. So I think there's just a bunch of stuff. I don't mean to make this about me, but I'm sure there's people that are dealing with this, and there is things to help and things to do.
Yeah. So just thinking about things from your dog's perspective in terms of how they might feel getting in the car, how they might feel when that car is moving, and that sensory overwhelm that can happen. I have a lot of clients who tell me their dog only barks at other dogs in the car. That doesn't happen when they're walking. And it can be territoriality, and then the dog just appears and is gone, and can be confusing. But there are medications you can give a dog for car sickness, something you could talk to your vet about.
Yeah,
that can be
and even the anxiety. As I'm talking to my vet, trying to figure out what the best
which
thing
anti-anxiety med,
to just help her relax. I could use one of them.
And in the worst case scenario, I know these are controversial, but I did have a client with a border collie, and we ended up using a calming cap.
Oh yeah,
and it was great because that dog was so stressed in the car, and then she actually bit the person on the back of the arm from the back seat because she was so anxious trying to get out the window at one point.
And remind everybody what a calming cap is again.
It's a nice little hood that goes over the eyes like a horsefly mask. So they can see, but they can only see partially. But if it's a dog who's getting overstimulated by the visual movement outside, it can be life-changing. Most dogs will just lay down with it and take a nap. And for some dogs, it's not forever. It might just be for the period of getting used to being in a moving car. Or they could be in a crate with a sheet over it.
We do things for them that we want them to be happy and in our lives.
We can get them comfortable in the car, then we can bring them with us.
Yeah, and that's the best thing.
Excellent.
All right, that was our car mechanics show.
But he wants to go for a ride. He wants to ride in Kirsten's new car.
Just before we finish up, we just wanted to mention here at the end that we hope you'll subscribe so we can get more people listening to our podcast.
Help more dogs.
Help us with that. Always let us know if you have questions. The email address will be in the show notes. Take a look at that. But another thing we just wanted to tell you is we noticed that our episode 32, part 1, didn't have the information it should have on there. It looked like it was part 2 that was in there. Thank you to the listener that made us aware of that. So we are going to pop that back in there, and it is episode 32, part 1, Found. What do you do when you spot a lost dog? And it'll have all the information in there.
So exciting. You thought you already listened to it, but you didn't.
And it's great when we look at the numbers, people have listened to that one and the other one, but we want you to know there is another episode in there just telling you what to do if you spot a lost dog. That one is the one that's close to my heart because we want to make sure everybody knows what the best way to help a dog that is lost.
Yeah. And then you can put them in your car.
No. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
This is the click and clack dog version of a car show. Till next time.
Thanks for tuning in today, and hope you'll join us for our next episode. You can reach Emma at
ecdogtraining.com or on Instagram at ecdog_training. And Kirsten at
kwhappydogs.com or on Facebook at kwhappydogs. Don't forget to hit subscribe. See you next time.